with Rick today. Just started talking to Rick on the internet. He's come, you know, quite a few people, don't you, Rick?
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I know a lot of people, and you know, I started chatting with you, and I had a really good conversation with you and Lisa the other day, and I've chatted with many other people on their live streams um, about flat Earth and about many other subjects. So yeah, it's always good to speak to truthers and people who know that that we've been lied to, and so um, we all have our journey, as I have had my own journey, um, seeking truth, and it's as long as I keep doing it and other people keep doing it, I'll keep making friends and talk about different subjects and see if I can figure something out that I don't know, or maybe I can help somebody else that might be new to truth seeking or have questions about different things, and I can maybe help them out. And so that's where I'm at. I mean, it's just I constantly look for people like yourself, Karen, and other people that I've chatted with, like I just described. So yeah, I mean that's my journey right now, and it's been for many years.
So where do you live then?
I live near Chicago. I'm here in the States. I'm here in America. So I've been here pretty much all my life. So I've traveled a bit, but not much. But not across the pond, so to speak. But maybe Mexico. I visited Canada a bit, but mostly in the States. So you can hear my American accent, I'm sure. So that's.
Okay. So what made you get into that subject?
Well, flat Earth. Okay, it's a long. Okay, I've had this question asked to me many times, and the best way I can describe it is it started as a teenager when I started reading about Freemasonry and secret societies and things, and I just thought it was like crazy. I thought it was like conspiracy theory. And once I kept reading about it and talking to different people about it, it's real. It was real. It is real. It still is real. And then that was sort of like a seed that was planted in me to question other things. And like, for example, you mentioned flat Earth, like the shape of the Earth that we live in is a lie. I mean, once you start questioning, break it down, it doesn't make any sense that the numbers that they give us, mathematical numbers that they give us of the circumference of the Earth, which is one of the lies that NASA does, is it doesn't make any sense because water always finds its level. It doesn't conform to a ball, right? And then especially when they say that it's spinning through the equator 1,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun, which is 93 million miles away, which I don't know how to get to that number.
Mach 80, because we're going in 3 directions, one with the moon anti-clockwise, and then the sun and the universe is going the other way, and we're going in both those speeds, and when you add it up, it's Mach 80.
Yeah, and it, I still can't wrap my head around it, because how do they get to those numbers? How do they do that? You can't connect the dots on that. And, there's many other people that know, maybe you, Karen, you probably know more about it than I do, and can break it down better, but I could never wrap my head around it. And so I always questioned it. And when you actually just, like for me, I keep it very, very basic, very simple. And I used their math, and it's, what is it, 25,000.4 miles per, or I'm sorry, mathematical miles in circumference for the spherical ball Earth that they tell us that we live in. So then you should be able to measure every mile 8 inches per mile squared, right? And I live near Lake Michigan. I can see across the ocean about 2 miles, about 2 miles with my own naked eye. I don't see any curvature. I mean, there's waves, the water wave, yeah, there's waves in the water, and I've also flown on planes, and unless the window is not curved, that's the only way you can see. Like when you fly on a plane, that's the only way you can see. Like you can try
Well, I had a pilot.
a curvature.
I had a pilot. It's not my interview; it's somebody else's. But the pilot came on and said that the windows are bowed on the plane.
Right. Okay.
So they're bowed on the plane. So that's why people think that they see an arc.
Right. I know, and I've been on planes, and you know, I didn't really like the first time I went on a plane. I didn't really think about it because I was, like I said, I was a young adult teenager, and I didn't really think about the curvature of the window, and I thought that I didn't really even think about the curvature of the Earth. But when I've heard other people mention it, like pilots and other truthers, they said, "Yeah, well, look at the curvature of the window, and then you can see that that's what makes it look like it's curving." And I never thought about it until somebody actually mentioned it, and then I thought, "Wow, yeah, that's true." Because if it was a flat window, you could see with your own eye vision what it actually looks like. There's no, you know, the trajectory of the curvature of the window wouldn't, what is it called? Manipulate your mind to think. It manipulates your mind to think that the outside of that window is the Earth's curve, which it's not. So yeah, you have to question these things, and I'm glad I did, because once I finally came to the realization that we don't live on a spinning ball Earth, it just changed my perspective on so many other things, and so many lies that we've been told.
When you think that you're this flat earther, do you feel that it's more to do with you as a person? It's not just about what we live on, because most people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. You know, I think there's three types of people. There's the globe heads, there's those that think they're flat earthers, and then there are flat earthers. When you're a flat earther, it changes your whole life. It changes who you are as a person, what you want in your life. It changes everything. And a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. They even suggest maybe recipes, ideas, but they don't live what they say. I never talk about what I can't do.
Right. Well, yeah, no, it definitely, for me, it's changed the how I perceive people, how I perceive everything. Like, for example, like I don't watch the news anymore. I haven't watched the news for years. I don't vote anymore. I don't. When I look at the sun and the moon
Because
in the sky,
there is nothing to vote for. You're not a blue or a red, or you're in their system. You don't want it in your life anymore.
right? I know, I understand it, and that, you know, that's what was. I think that we had this conversation the other day about truthers sending me attachments on my Facebook about voting for Trump, and I'm like, how can you be a truther knowing that you believe in flat Earth, knowing that you understand that all these lies that the government has told us, and then still say, well, let's vote for a politician? Wait, you're contradicting yourself when you say Trump is like somebody that is not a politician. He's somebody that's trying to change the guard, but he was voted in, right? And he's trying to get voted in again.
See, because I did make a little video of Boris, and it was when he'd won the general election, and he came out, and it was before Christmas not last, was it last year or the year before? I can't remember now. And he there's 2 car spaces outside 10 Downing Street, but you've got this 15-foot photographer and this little tiny Boris in the middle of the road. And considering he won with an 80-seat majority, he was smaller than the people that were further away. So they make these things for us months in advance, and at full speed, people aren't noticing. Problem with the video that there's this little Diddy Boris on it. So how do we know that we voted for them? They're just going to put in who they want, whether we vote or we don't vote. I don't think many people voted in our election. I think it was probably one of the least voted for elections, but we'll never know now because they lied and they put Boris in with an 80-seat majority. It doesn't matter. They're always going to put in who they want and with the majority they want. And then they stick it all over the television.
Right, exactly. And that's a great point to make. Like, I live here in the States, so I don't know about Boris that much.
I'm going to play that little bit of footage of Boris. I just got to...
That's fine.
Hey, so I've got the video up. It took me ages to get it. Poor Rick, he had to wait till I did it. But here you go. You can't see it right now, but you'll see it on the main video when it's playing. Here is a great big reporter, right? He must be about 15, 20 foot tall, because all that you can have here is 2 cars outside 10 Downing Street. And look at the size of Boris. He's only about a car and a half width away from this photographer. And look at the size of him from the pavement. It would have been 1 or 2 steps there, but he'll have to have loads of steps because he's the size of a child with this little tiny podium. And Boris is smaller than the people standing on the side of the road. He's smaller than the people further away. So this is the narrative that they're putting out for us, Rick.
Okay. Well, I need to look at that video so I can get a better vision of it. But I can imagine that it's obviously in the media and on television, and so they script these kind of things to make people believe whatever they're trying to.
It wasn't filmed live, and goodness knows how many months ago they filmed it.
Okay. I'll have to take a look at that video so I can look. I mean, so I can really actually
channel on it, but it's the unscrambled 2. If you put the 2 channel in, you'll find it. But it's like this. I changed it back to the unscrambled 2 because they deleted the unscrambled channel, so I was trying to get away from it. But then I realised that people would remember me as the unscrambled channel, so it's now the unscrambled channel 2. But I put this video on there, and it's just disgusting what they did. If I move it on a little bit to show you how many seats he won by, where is it? There you go. They gave him an 80-seat majority, which he didn't have, that we didn't vote for. It's taking ages to turn the page, of course. But he didn't have it. Many people voted for him. I think a lot of people didn't vote in the last election. Of course, will it? Oh dear me. Well, I'm around for now. But yeah, that's what they gave. It's an 80-seat majority. There he was coming out to announce what they're comfortable way. I feel really, really bad. Rick has been here for a while doing this hangout with me. I go and test it and it's all Dalek-like, so we're having to record it again. So thank goodness Rick is a very patient person and has sat in with this. But what it was is we were just showing a little bit of Boris to show how much they have lied to us, which they have, and they're prepared to do it, and they're doing it every day. I think a lot of people are starting to wonder whether we're being run by anybody, that these people have just stuck their computer programs in all over the television and we're just watching an episode of the news, an episode of this, an episode of that. Everybody's thinking that it's their timetable of life and it's happening as it's happening, but it's not. They filmed these things months ago. But anyway, we were on that subject, and then you told me that you were a counsellor and you understand about narcissism.
Right. Yes, correct. I mean, I have a degree in psychology, and I was a counselor for a few years, and it's different when, for me, it was different when I graduated from this degree in psychology, that actually counseling people, families, and children, and to help them. That was the point, is to help them, to give them therapy. And I learned about how people are so narcissistic within their families, and it's amazing how, it was amazing how people try to control people in certain ways, and that's what narcissism is. It's about control.
Yeah, so basically, if you meet a narcissist, they're not really interested in you, they're interested in the euphoria. So when you first meet them, they love bomb you, and you're going, I love you, and whatever you're saying to them, oh, you're lovely, you're gorgeous. And then they start moaning at you. You can't do this right, you can't do that right, you can't even make a cup of tea right. That's what I got told. You can't make a cup of tea. And then when you stop accolading them and saying how wonderful they are, then they disregard you. I actually disregarded mine, but the answers he gave me, his answers were not good enough, because I had a boyfriend, which I put all over my channel, but actually he gambles all day and so forth. He's got so many addictions that I can't be with him anymore, because it's damaging to me. I'm an empath. I can't be with someone who's going to gamble all day, hours and hours and hours and hours of gambling, and I go to sleep on my own every night. And then they turn around and say, well, we're on different paths, which is true, but he didn't want to wake up and realise. He just wanted to carry on gambling. So he put that all before me.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's one thing I think we chatted about before, is, like, I don't want to blame the victim, because you're the victim in this case. But
yeah, I'm the victim, and they think they're the victim. But narcissists only ever care about themselves and don't work out what's happened. Whereas I've sat here and looked at it all and watched programs and thought about what that was really about. They put me all over Facebook. Can you believe that? With lies.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what control is all about, is social media, and now Facebook is, for a lot of people, they want this many likes, and this many thumbs up, so to speak. And so they feel like, wow, people are watching me, people are listening to me, and they don't even care. They just
No, they
smile
don't
and
care
like.
about you at all. They don't care. They're lying. And it's lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. And then they believe their lies. So their history is full up of lies.
Right. Of course. I know. I understand. And like, once, like, one thing, I've been through that kind of thing before. And that's why I like being single, because I sort of, I can read somebody. I don't know what an impasse is.
I never went out with him for an ending. Went out with him because I thought we were going to have a future together, but there was no future because all they want to do is gamble.
Okay. Well, I mean,
And that's not a flat earth thing, is gambling and watching television screens all the time and having your iPad on all the time. That's not a flat earth thing.
right. Yeah, I know.
I mean, we're on screens at the moment, but we're talking. When he's gambling, you can't talk to him. So it's hours and hours of him just with his eyes stuck on the television. And we all know that sport is faked.
Right. Well,
So
I
it's a
mean,
double whammy, because the sport is fake and they're betting on it all the time.
listen, listen
So
to me, Karen.
actually, they were going out with the gambling and they were having an affair with me.
Okay.
That's the summary of that one. And I didn't want to be the bit on the side.
Okay.
But on Facebook, people did come through and protect me a bit. But I don't want that kind of life that someone's prepared. And that was the 4th time they stuck me on social media. They took the other bits off and they sort of changed the words around a little bit. But anybody that knew I was going out with him would know it was me. So it's made to look like I'm the mad woman, but I wasn't. I just don't want to be with a gambler who's gambling all the time and gambling on a holiday. It's gambling on a holiday, which he promised he wasn't going to do.
Well, Karen, listen to me. Gambling is a huge addiction. Okay, so you know, the addiction is when you lose something, you gamble more to win it back, and it carries on. So,
Well, he told
you
me it
know,
was his job, that it was his job, but the thing is he was losing the money. So it's not, it's an addiction. And that's why we've broken up, because he's put that first.
all right, okay, Karen, I'm gonna challenge you real quick. Now, what if he was winning? Does he not have an addiction?
They still got the same addiction.
Okay, so would you stay with him if he was winning all the time?
I would have stayed with him if he didn't put the gambling all over me, because I can't stop him gambling. I was hoping that he would just wake up and realize what was more important in his life. But he doesn't work, so he gambles. So I know it's a bit of a hard thing, really. So I couldn't stop him doing it. I was just hoping that he would realize what was more important in his life.
Okay. Well, see, that's
But what's
the
important in
problem
his
with,
life is gambling.
well, okay, Karen. Now another
And he
challenge.
wanted me to fit into his life of gambling, which means going to bed every night on my own.
Okay, so do you realize the truth now with you and him?
Yeah.
Okay, so why squabble over something that you know it's over?
No, I was just telling you that's why I got into looking up about narcissism.
Okay.
It was just a word. And over the last so many months, I've been looking up masses. I mean, I'm into psychology anyway, and I was doing it with Amy and other people. We were just looking up stuff about narcissism. We were just looking at it. And I was going, this is just like a lot of these things that they're talking about is what I'm going through in my life. This person's just determined to think of themselves. They're not thinking about, they didn't mind food, but they were included in the food. So that was all right. Well, if they're included in it, they're fine. But that's how I learned about, I realized a lot of stuff that was going on in my life, and I was researching it at the same time.
Okay.
And then when you realize
Well,
what a narcissist is, they only ever think of themselves. And that's the only answer I've had back is me, 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 me.
right. I know. I know
You
that.
have to learn it the hard way. I've learned it the hard way. I thought he was a really awake person, but he doesn't mind standing on the street corner telling everybody else how to live their lives. I'd like to say, excuse me, don't listen to this person. They've got this, 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 and this, and they gamble. But I mean, I didn't do that because I'm not like that. But, in my mind, I could see myself doing it. But it was changing me as a person, because a narcissist makes you into a narcissist. I'm a nice person. I don't need all that. And
Well, okay.
then there's the
All right,
Hall of
wait.
Mirrors. The Hall of Mirrors. I've been sent some hangouts. Somebody's much more into narcissism than me. They've studied it, go on seminars, etc., etc. Really nice person. But basically, they're having a hangout with Sam Vulcan. Is his name Sam Vulcan? And basically, he was saying it's a Hall of Mirrors, and the mirrors, you love them through the mirrors, but the mirrors is your love. They don't love you. They don't have any love. They can't love you because they're stuck in their childhood abandonment issues. So they can't give you anything because they're stuck there playing their games. It's
Right.
all a game. With a narcissist, it's all games.
Well, okay. One thing I have to tell you, there are different types of narcissism. Okay, the one you're describing is somebody that is selfish. I mean,
Well, I
the
told you,
most
I think
extreme.
I think he's a sociopath one. And they don't have any, like, they're saying, well, even narcissists, they go, well, I hope no one gets hurt. But a sociopath doesn't care whether you get hurt. They send people like that into ruined businesses, to take people out, whatever it is, because they don't have a heart in it at all. That's why they can do it. They don't have a conscience in it. And the one big thing, that if I'm an empath and you're going out with someone who's not empathic at all, it was very difficult. I was looking at them, but they weren't looking at me. They were only looking at themselves. So at the end of it, my whole life was just filled up with this person and their problems, which I couldn't deal with. I couldn't deal with all their problems. Couldn't deal with going to bed on my own every night. That's
So,
the truth.
okay. All right, fine. So, it took you 7 months.
They've got a drug addiction, a bad drug addiction, abandonment issues, hoarding issues, just so many issues. I couldn't cope with it.
Okay, so wow. See, like even like smart
So many
people like
addictions.
you. Wait, hold on, Karen. Hold on, Karen. Even smart people like you can't even see it.
I did, but he could have changed. He was a single bloke. He'd been single for a while. He met me. He could have tidied up. He could have sorted some of those things out, but he wasn't prepared to do that. Just dropping tissues everywhere. He just didn't care.
All right.
He only cared about
Okay.
himself.
All right. Karen, I'm gonna get strict with you.
So now I got to that thing when I realised on holiday he wasn't even prepared to stop doing it on holiday, and then he blamed me for it. Well, we argued. So it's all your fault. I gambled. So he couldn't take responsibility for himself at all. That's why it's over. But I'm a nice person. We've got friends that are the same. I just think a lot of people are hiding these problems they've got, and they're using, say, Flat Earth to come in and do it. None of us are perfect. I smoke. So I've got, you can say that's an addiction, but that's a lower one. These other ones are so big, they take over your life completely, and there's no room for anything else. And then because he was lying, it took me months to work out who exactly he was. But then I've got involved with him, so I've got feelings for him. But you just have to let go of all that and move on, because I'm not staying in that kind of environment. Thanks very much. Also, he's got, there's anger, so much anger in there. Swearing at me. It started off like that. I put up for months of it. People were on the phone with me when he was doing it, so other people heard it. But you live and you learn.
Well, listen to me, Karen.
Don't forget as well,
Karen,
Rick.
please listen for a second.
Narcissism is a new thing, isn't it, really? It's more of a new thing. It's not like maybe 20 years ago we were going, hey, the society's a narcissist. But now you go to YouTube, you can find loads of channels talking about it. Loads of people are talking about what it is. They always say, once you've finished, delete them, walk on, and don't look back. Do not go back. Because you'll only go back to the same crap you had in the first place. Carry on, Rick.
Karen. Hold on.
You're going to tell me off. Tell me off. Go on then, Rick. Tell me off.
No, I'm not going to tell you off. I think I know what I have to do with this one.
Thing is, we were playing a different game. I was playing the love game, and they were playing the narcissist game, and it is a game. I just wanted to be with them and have a life with them, but they didn't. They were set on Me, I'm gambling. You'll have to lump it, go to bed every night on my own. It's boring. It's not what I wanted. But don't forget, we've been locked down and they cut the gambling down, didn't they? They stopped all sport and everything like that. And then it started in July. So things just got magically worse in July. And then it was about the middle of August when I realised what all this was about with the other issues and problems going on. But I just loved them and wanted to be with them. And then you see it all for what it is. It's all just rubbish. And I don't want it in my life.
All right, Karen.
The one thing you need to do is you need to know who you are as a person, which this person obviously didn't. And they lied so much that they start believing their lies. Well, I don't want to be in something where it's all my fault all the time for things that aren't my fault. It took me quite a few months to work it all out.
Karen, wow. Wait, hold on, Karen. It sounds like you really have a lot of something inside that you're trying to let. You're not trying. You are letting it out.
I know we didn't come on to talk about this, my life. This only happened so many weeks ago.
Okay.
But that's how I got that. You know, like we were talking about narcissism, and you know, I was looking it up, and I was getting like I was looking at the subject because I'm into psychology anyway myself, and then I realised that actually that's what I was with.
Okay. Well, I mean, one thing, like I've said, like I've told you, I was a counselor, and I do have a degree in psychology. So my thing is, that I've learned is to listen. That's the way I learn about somebody like you or anybody else, because I take the time to listen and find out what's happening in their life. And when I do that, I
Well, I
learn.
don't usually put my life over the internet, but we're doing this hangout and it will go out so people will learn, and won't they? But I'm not really into putting my life on the internet, so I've been struggling with this privately with a couple of friends.
Okay, well, I can help you. It's fine. I mean, I think we're friends, aren't we?
Listen, I told you, he even broke my finger, but he won't even own up to that. But he didn't care putting me all over the internet, which is just crazy. I think my finger's
Okay,
worth much more than a piece of glass.
right.
So, you know, there's a few bruised things in there, but you live and you learn, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why, like when I make a decision in my life, I say I don't want this anymore, so I change and I sort of look for something else or somebody else. And if I can't find that somebody else, then I stay alone. I'm okay with that. You know, um, what's that song called? With Whitney Houston. Um, it's about your inner self. Shoot. A moment in time, I think it's called. And she's basically saying in the lyrics, she's loving herself. Oh, the greatest love of all time. That's what it's called. And when you listen to that song, the greatest love is herself, which is yourself and myself and somebody else's self. And that's what it should be, because when you find the greatest love, it's within yourself. Because especially a truther, somebody who has gone through all these lies that we've been told, understand that sometimes we have to find love within ourselves. and I sometimes I go in that realm, in that path, because when I can't find somebody else's love, I have to go within myself. So I think about it that way in some ways. So Whitney Houston, I think it's called look it up. I'll look it up right now. Let's see. Oh, it's called I Will Always Love You.
Right.
No, well, hold on, it might not be that one. But anyway,
Do excuse us, everybody. We've already, me and Rick, had a hangout about this, and then it shaped it all really weird. It was all Dalek-y, so we've started again. So that's why we've gone straight into this subject, because we were talking about it before we on the other hangout.
right, yeah, I know. Yeah, Karen, me and you have been on here for quite a bit now.
About 2 hours now.
Yeah, I know, and we've had a voice chat on Facebook for almost 3 hours with Lisa on the phone, and I was with her on the phone on Facebook, and but it's cool. I mean, I want people to listen to this and have a conversation, have a talk, and question things. Um, you
That's
know,
what we don't do anymore, is it? Is talk. Everybody just internalizes it, or they just don't talk enough, or they run away from what's really going on.
right? Yeah, of course. And I think like um, narcissism is a great subject because like if I'm talking right now and nobody listens, and I'm constantly, it's a monologue. If I want to keep talking over you, Karen, it's going to be a monologue. It's all about me, right? But you have to share information and have a conversation.
Mm.
And that's what a conversation is all about. And if you disagree, tell me. I would like to listen and see what I don't know.
Well, the good
Uh,
thing is, Rick, that you are a counsellor, so you do understand what I'm talking about.
yes, I do, and I implore any
What I'm
like
saying is, this narcissism thing is part of that structure. They've done this to us. They've made sure society is quite narcissistical. I think, like I said, it's our parents and grandparents who have abandoned us, which makes the children narcissistics, and so on, and it goes on. And it
right,
just makes
yeah,
a society that's full of this.
I know. I know, and it's all a part of the programming and
I mean, when you wake up,
media.
you have to be you. You have to sort yourself out, know who you are, and it's about you on that journey. Once you know who you are, then you can stretch out to other people. Because when you know who you are, you're not struggling or racing or whatever it is. Once you know who you are, you've got love in you. You can give that love back out to other people, but that doesn't mean they're in the same place as you.
Right. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I think that you can't reach out to every single person, but if you do actually try to speak out a bit, then you might you might reach out somebody, and they might
It's a very
resonate
sad place for us to
with
be,
what you're
though,
saying.
Rick. With 2020, you've got to realise that half the people out there at least are narcissists and don't give a damn in the first place. And this is probably why, as flat earthers, we can't talk to any of these people, because there's no point. the journey is you, I suppose. But then once you know who you are, then you can have more love for everybody, because once you're filled with love, you can give that love out to multiple of people. But if you don't love, you've got no love to give in the first place.
Well, right. I mean, that's two parts of being narcissistic is somebody who wants love and doesn't receive it often, so they try to find different ways to get it, because as a human being, we need love. We
Well,
want
it's
to
not love,
feel.
though, is it? Like, a narcissist only wants the euphoria. They only
Well,
want,
right.
oh, you're
Well,
wonderful, you're
you're
lovely. And then, of course, relationships change, things move on. And if you're not giving them that voice, then they start, because they're starting to have a go at you. They're the ones that are changing the boundaries, not you. I mean, the one thing I've looked up with narcissists, like I said, it says if you finish with them, block them, walk on, and never look back. Never go back, because you're only going to, if you go back, you're going to go back to what you had.
right. Well, I mean, okay.
And a lot of
So,
narcissists don't have feelings and empathy. So this is why they do what they do, because they don't have empathy in the first place. So they can cold cuttingly do things. Whereas as an empath, I'm not like that.
okay. So, all right. I have a couple of questions for you, Karen.
Oh dear, carry on.
Um, Empath. Explain that to me.
Pardon?
Empath.
Well, an empath is somebody who, what it is let's say I was sitting with you, I don't necessarily feel everybody's feelings, but I can be in a room and I feel those person's feelings. I'm not sure whether it's because you go inside someone else's electromagnetic field and you're picking up on that. But an empath I can say, oh, I'm really sorry, or I know that hurt you, or I can see you're upset, and I can say those things back to the person. But a narcissist doesn't care about your feelings, whereas I care
Okay.
about people's feelings.
All right. Okay. I got that. All right. So,
But what it is an empath can feel other people's feelings. So even if you could be saying, oh, I like you, and you can be feeling that they don't like you, you feel it.
all right. All right, Karen. This is the reason why I asked you this question, because I might be an empath then, because I can do the same thing. And I use like my psychology and the counseling that I've done by using visual uh, things and mannerisms in their body language, and the way they speak, and and I could tell if I ask them a question that it might hurt them, and I might know that beforehand, but I just want to see
Yeah, because
a
people don't
reaction.
realize what they're telling you. They don't realize that they're telling you stuff. They just don't realize that they're telling you stuff. That's what that's about.
Well, listen, Karen. I've seen people's demeanor change real quick when I was a counselor. I've seen that happen, and I was like, wow, I just saw something happen, and I go with it. I don't. I'm not trying to. I didn't. I already know. I didn't write it down, but I try to write things down when I was a counselor, but I know like they're going into their past and what happened, and I go with it, and then it takes time for them to actually, like reveal the truth about whatever that was. And uh I just, I'm patient. I was patient and I'm still patient. Um to this day, like I know that people have arguments, and I I'm okay with that, because right now people are having arguments right now, okay, in different homes, different places, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So it's just about picking which, where I can sort of, be in a place where I can say something to make an impact. That's all. That's where I'm at in my life. So, yeah.
So, what's your definition of a narcissist then, as you're a counsellor and understand that?
Okay. Well, there's three different types, at least three different types, right? So, there's, okay, for example, personal example, my mother, my living mother, is the nicest person in the world. And that's all she is. Just nice. So, narcissism in her world is to control me and other people to be constantly nice. That's it. And I understand it. I see it. I hear it every day, or almost every day. And oh, do you want something to eat? Do you want this or that? And she speaks like this. And it's like, I never hear any anger, no sadness, no other emotions. That's a control system in her mind to control me and other people. Because she's weak. She doesn't, she's feeble in some way. Um, and narcissism, it's about control. So it's love me and always love me, no matter what you do or I do. Love me because I just want to be loved, and that's it. So that's where that saying comes from kindness can kill you softly with love. So that's my own mother. She does that. And you know what? I'll tell you what, I call her on it every time. I'm like, no, I don't. I can cook for myself. I can do things for myself, you know? So, and then there's um, the overt narcissism, which is like talking loudly and trying to control you with voice, you know, and saying that, well, I know more because I speak loud, and then I gain power through votes and government, and
That's people who have like
like
rage addiction and stuff like that, yeah?
right, of course. And then there's the other one where they want you to make them feel sorry for them. Oh my gosh, I'm hurt. Oh, oh my gosh, please help me. And then there's empathy there and help, and then they gain more narcissism, so to speak. And that's, it's different angles that people do. And then there's the fourth kind, where people who are satanic, basically, and they use all three and put them together, and they have like this psychopathic personality to use whatever one they want, to gain control, which is great. Like, once I see that, I'm like, wow, I'm out. I'm out. I won't even listen to me when I say this. Don't get into it too much, because it will suck you in real quick. So that's, if anybody is listening, please don't get sucked in too much with it, because it can drive you crazy. So it's like, I understand the whole thing. So and it's personal to me in some ways,
It's a
but
very
at
deep
the same
subject,
time,
though, isn't it? Because you've got psychopath ones, covert ones. There's intro what's name. So the covert one is a loud one, and the in one is a quiet one. So yeah, there's so many different bits to it, and by the end of it, you thought, wow, it's a very deep subject.
right? Yeah, it is. And
My upset is that we've been turned. That people don't realise it's another program where people have been turned into narcissists on purpose. This is what they want. They want a society that doesn't care. So that's why, you look up psychology in the end, and most of us have met these narcissists one way or another. They don't care about you at all. The whole aim is about themselves.
right. Well, one thing, Karen, is one thing I do not now that I've been through this whole process with psychology and being a counselor, is I always question. I'm a critical thinker, and I follow my instincts. So, one thing I always question is, how does that person make me feel following my own instincts? How does that person make me feel? And following my instincts, I can follow where they're coming from. And I try to read them in that way, because I'm not trying to control them. I just want to understand where they're coming from. So I just, like, when I was in college, there was a professor that said, follow, he was talking about schizophrenia. It was um
I'm not sure whether we did that on this hangout or the other one. We have these inner voices in our brain, but someone who's schizophrenic doesn't think they're their voices. They think those voices are coming in from the outside. So that's the difference, as I was listening to that the other day on a hangout. Well, that was what was being explained.
right. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's different ways to go through that schizophrenia, but at the same time, one thing I learned about this professor was about that subject, and that course was called abnormal psychology, right? So it discussed about different,
Yeah, and don't forget you've got borderline people,
right,
which
correct,
actually is they're half the what do you call it? When you've got when you're outer and they're half inner about their narcissism. So that's what a borderline is. It doesn't mean, they're a borderline narcissist. They are a narcissist. They just border between an internal narcissist to an outer narcissist. Can't remember the exact words now, the right words, but that's better. That's the way of explaining it.
right. Well, I mean, those kind of things are, important, because um, it's really important because when I was in that course, he taught us to feel, um, try to understand our feelings, and in the sense, how does that person make you feel? And I was like, that's pretty cool because, if it makes you feel strange or crazy, then it's like they're crazy or they're strange in some way, and you have to try to understand it. And so I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Um, so it's like you have to follow your instincts in some way, because if you're a truther and you try to find truth, and you're a critical thinker, you should follow your instincts. And like you, Karen, I can feel your energy. You're positive. You're a positive person.
Yeah.
And
Well, generally, yes.
well, of course, I mean, I wouldn't be chatting with you for this long if I didn't think so.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, so I think you're okay. I think you just need to sort out this thing that you're going through
It's
in your.
over. Sorted. I'm just telling you the end result of it.
Okay.
Because they're not prepared to change at all. They don't want to listen. They just think we're on different paths. But you would be if you were gambling 14 hours a day. It's not a life as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Either they wake up, but they're not going to. Because if you're one of those, they don't want to wake up. And they believe they're right. That's you're in their way, really, for what they want.
Yeah, correct. You're right. I think that you have to eventually say goodbye to people, as I have in my life, to say that's enough for me. I don't need that in my life. And it it's painful. It's painful to do
And then you
that, but
realise that you didn't really even know them because they wear a mask. The whole point of them is that it's a mask. And all you've been doing is talking to the mask.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a struggle to go through it sometimes. And it might still be a struggle for me to
And they
keep
might not
going
even
through it.
realise that they're one. That's the sad bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be perfect in your life, by the way. And no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. It's not about that. It's about, they can't even empathise with you. They can't share anything with you because they're not on the same path as you at all. It's not just about gambling. It's about everything. I'm on a journey of knowing who I am, helping other people, being, that's what we called family united, sun and moon family united. We're supposed to be a family. But that doesn't mean everybody else is like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know what? I think people change throughout time, in their lifetime. And sometimes people, um, go one way or the other with certain people that they follow, so to speak, on YouTube or Facebook. And, even if they're truthers, they might switch, like me. Like I've switched. Um, and people make changes in their life in some way, in that way, and it's crazy, man, to me, because
They can't change in all that, though. They don't want that either.
right. Well, one thing I have to say about this is there's channels that I've subbed on that I unsubbed on. Now, I don't follow anymore. It's not because I hate them or anything like that. It's because they're going through a different journey, I think. I don't know what it is, but it's they monetize their channel, and maybe it's about that or something else. I don't want to discuss it really, to be honest with you. But it's something that I'm not interested in. Um, so yeah, I've changed myself, and so that's why, in some way, I'm speaking with you and other people that I'm more interested in, so to speak. So people change. It's just their way of doing it. I have no idea. I can't explain everything about what they do. So
Can I just say, because obviously we were on this hangout, it went all weird, the hangout, when I recorded it. Another 20 minutes, Claudio is going to come on, because I knew I was doing another hangout. You can sit in that one if you want, Rick, or you decide that you don't want to sit on in it. Claudio's going to talk about astrology and stuff like that, and the fact that we're in this mess because of the stars. The stars are doing this to us, and I wanted to have another hangout because a lot of people feel that they're going through things and maybe don't understand why. And it's all to do with the stars. So he's coming on in about 20 minutes, which you can sit in, or if you don't want to, then obviously you go. But you might want to sit on it. But he's going to do a lot of the talking.
yeah, okay, I'll stay on. I'll
Okay, but there'll be
Yep.
different hangouts. This is one hangout, and then Claudio comes on. But let's continue. I find it very sad that humans are put. That's what it's all about. That's what a lot of people are interested in, just themselves. And I do think that also when you've had children and been married, you're a different kind of person to those that haven't been married and had children. They're different. They're more selfish in the first place. I don't mean that rudely to anybody. That you're who you are with what you know, and when you've had to give yourself to children and a husband and so on, you're different. You're a different kind of person.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I don't have any children, but I'm not selfish. Um, but I understand what you're
Well, you've
saying.
done psychology, don't you? So you're a bit different anyway because you've done psychology in the first place.
Well, yeah,
You've been able to understand humanity.
of course. Yeah, of course. When I go outside and I see children wearing masks, it brings tears to my eyes sometimes because they're being programmed with this stupid hoax COVID-19 thing, coronavirus, and it's amazing uh how this whole new world order is coming out. Um and I've read about this for a long time.
Yeah, I also don't like it. I feel it's not that I feel threatened, but when all these people have got masks on, and I've got a little sign which says I'm not wearing one, but they're all wearing masks, and I feel sort of threatened, if you understand what I mean. There's just you're like they're all like everybody's got a mask, and yes, this man said, "Get away from me! You're not 2 meters. Get away!" And I said, "It's not real. Now get on with your life. It's not real."
Yeah, it's crazy right now. that's one thing that I try to say is this new world order is full in effect. It's happening all around this world in this place that we live in. And it's
I
affecting.
thought of Rick, by the way. Listen, when I first got into having my own channel, this case had happened where this man had murdered his wife and children. And people were really moaning about her. And I was like, well, how could you keep just saying all this stuff about a woman who's died? And I started looking at the footage. When he broke the footage down, you could see that they were using televisions to make it. Her eyes kept changing colour. Footage of the drive was wrong. The document the police had was wrong. The discovery document was wrong. And then I realised at the end of that case that the police were involved, the courts were involved, the judges were involved, the prisons were involved, the media were involved, and the politics were involved. It was all part of the same programme to demoralise the people. But with that case, they got people depressed, upset, etc. And everybody was in on it. But now, with the lockdown, it's happening to you as a person. People aren't so in on it. Not in on that way. They thought they had the people because they've been drumming us for years. Crime Watch Daily is a station which is telling you how everybody's killing everybody and going to death row when they're not. They're just stories. They're just part of the program. And when it's actually happening to you, people weren't prepared to say, hey, yeah, I'm in on this, because they're not. So that's a good thing that the people aren't so in on it, and more people are waking up. Because once it's happening to you, they're not prepared to go through it. But it's all a lie anyway, because it's all part of this structure they've got about how to demoralise us.
Right. Yeah, I know. This structure that we're living in is it's a bit crazy because people are buying into it, and they can't see it. They cannot see it. They're so programmed and brainwashed. That's where we are at with this stuff. So yeah,
That's exactly right. Unfortunately, programmed like the narcissism. It's all one of their programs, just part of their game, which they've been doing for a long time. Or maybe that's the end result of doing what they do to the people. It just makes people into those kind of people.
right.
Which breaks my heart, because if you're an empath, you see the good in people. There's just so many differences between that and a narcissism. But if most of society is narcissistic, and like you say, and in fact, we're probably all narcissistic. It's good narcissism, but it's the bad narcissism we're talking about. And again, I told you that maybe we're all autistic or Asperger's on the spectrum. Maybe that's why they can't convince those people. I just don't know. All I know is that it's happening. And then when you look at it, that's what Jeremy Carl's about, Jerry Springer. They're all there to demoralize the people, and they don't realize it. And to make you've got those programs where Love Island, where you go to get a boyfriend, but you've got to have an affair, call them out, be horrible, and then go out with them. And it's all televised. And a lot of young people are watching that and think that's how life is. And that's how they do it. So they're learning through the television.
Right. Well, Karen, I know that.
People who are awake, like you and me, don't watch the television. We make our own television. We're talking to each other. I mean, I didn't know before we went on the Hangout that you're actually a counsellor, so that's how we've got talking about that side of it. But most people I just don't think people think. They're just so consumed with themselves.
Well, Karen, listen to me when I say this. I don't. Again, I'm going to repeat this. I don't know what an empath is, but maybe
Hang on, I'll read it. I'll read it to you. I'll look it up for you so you know. So I'm going to go to the dictionary now.
Wait, hold on, Karen. Hold on, Karen. It might not matter to me because I might be an empath and I don't even know it. I mean, I don't even care, to be honest with you, because I can, like I said, like I described, I can read
Right.
people.
This is what an empath is. An empath is someone who is highly aware of the emotions of those around them, to the point of feeling those emotions themselves. Empaths see the world differently than other people. They're keenly aware of others, their pain, points, and what they need emotionally. But it's not just emotions.
Okay, well, I really don't want to be described as an empath, even though I might be.
Empaths are highly sensitive individuals who have a keen ability to sense what other people's around them are thinking and feeling. Psychologists may use the term empath to describe a person that experiences a great deal of, and then it carries on. We're well aware of other people's feelings, but that doesn't mean the one that isn't is aware of you.
Okay, well,
So I think it's a good thing. But to those that aren't interested into relationships and learning and growing, they don't care. But I can feel other people's feelings quite a lot. Yeah, I do. So they can say, I like you, and you can feel that they don't like you. People lie. And you can tell the difference, which is what you've been telling me. So you probably are. It's very nice, what do you call it? It's a gift. It's a very good gift. But it's hard when you're an empath because a lot of people aren't at all, and they don't care about you or your feelings. And they're usually, what's the word? When they say to you, you can't do it, but I can. What do you call that? That's a, I forget what the word now. I can't think of the word, but they can do it, but you can't.
I have no idea what you're
It's all
describing.
right. I can't think of what the word is right now. Hypocrites. Hypocrites.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Karen. I can read somebody's lies real quick, or somebody's truth, or somebody's happiness, um, or if they're being sincere, and if they're not, it might not be my time to expose them, but maybe I'll find another timeline, so to speak, when they do it again, and I say that person did it again, and expose them to a mainstream person, and then they're exposed to whatever they said or did to a lie. And so I know how to do it. It's just I sort of pick a time when I can do it, because if I do it right away, um, it's gonna expose me, so to speak, as it might it might make people think that I'm like, a vigilante, so to speak, and and just be like I'm a criminal, but I'm not. But it's uh, that's the best way I could describe it, in the sense of being outside in the mainstream. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't care about being an empath. I just I can read people real quick. Um, some and most of the time I stay quiet, because then I can read more of what they're saying,
Mm.
and I can read more about what's happening in their life. And then I walk away, and then I because I know I'm going to hear more things
Well,
from
I
other
care
people.
about people. I care about all people, especially when they're my friends. I care and have feelings for them. So if they do react really strange on me, it's harder for me when I care about them. It's easier to tell a stranger what you think because you don't have those feelings in there. So I understand that as a counsellor, you don't have those feelings for the people that you would have if it was your boyfriend or your mother or a really good friend. So it's easier then to it's easier to see it for what it is. But when you care about these people, that's where I struggle. And people are telling you this is what you are when actually they're just telling you who they are.
Right.
And they put it on you. They put it all on you, and then they're telling you that's what you are when actually that's what they are.
Well, I mean, have you ever thought about, like a murder, like when a police officer comes into a murder and investigates that murder, right? So when they do that, it's a stranger. They don't know who was murdered, but they start investigating. Like, how was this person killed? Was it a bullet, gun, a knife? And they piece everything together. Well, it was dropped here, that the blood is over there and over here, and they investigate to find out what happened. They're strangers in this investigation, right? They don't know these people. They don't know the murder, but they are investigating. So they investigate and they piecemeal it, so to speak, one by one, and find out what happened. DNA evidence, all that. It's the same thing with family, truth, and everything. People need to find out and investigate with strangers what happened on that murder, piece by piece. That's an analogy that I think people can use because it's true. It happens every day.
Mm.
Do you understand my
But don't
analogy?
forget, a lot of it's made up for us.
Right. Well, I mean, it is. Of course it is. When people like understand that, then like yourself, then they start looking either in more of that or in other things, and um they might realize more lies, more strange things that are not told to us or that are lies. You know what I mean? It's it goes on and on.
Mm. Yeah. Well, maybe you've learned it a bit differently in a sense because you're looking at it slightly, what do you call it, abstractly because of what you, because you're a counsellor, so you've learnt that guard, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, all right. I'll say this. When I was a counselor, people told me they killed people. They
Oh, no.
openly told me that once I gained their trust. So, I mean, if have you ever heard that before in your lifetime? Somebody telling you they openly killed people?
No, I don't know how I would quite deal with that because it goes against what I want. So, and I'm not a counsellor, so although I could be a outside with the knowledge I've got, but no, I haven't had to face that myself.
Okay. Well, I've been through that at least 2 or 3 times as a counselor, and uh, trust me, it was like hard to take in, but at the same time, I sort of kept a stoic demeanor, because then in some way I was afraid for my own life. And so I kept my demeanor as a counselor to let them speak and let them talk about what happened. And, they described it was a drug deal gone bad. And so it was about gang thing, so, that's kind of the thing I dealt with at that time in most parts. But yeah, so so like one thing, like at that point in my life, I was young. Um, that's what I remember, like building trust with patients and clients is. My point was trying to help them. So, when somebody reveals their true horrors of whatever they've done, then you can sort of tap into more, and maybe I can find some way to help them. That's all I was trying to do. That's it. So, yeah, I mean, it's, everyone goes through so many different scenarios in their life. So, it's all right for me, you know, it's all right. So, it's all good.
Can I just say that, like I said, we've got Claudio coming on. He's going to, oh, there he is. He's on board now. Rick, can we just finish this hangout for Claudio's one?
Sure.
Claudio's joined the hangout now. And I know that, can we come back and talk about this a bit more?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, I'll sign out and yeah.
No, you're staying on the hangout. You're going to listen to Claudio, aren't you? Or do you want to go?
Okay, I'll sit in. It's fine.
All right, then I'm just going to end this hangout. Claudio's just joined me for the next one. But Rick, thank you very much for everything you said. Chat room, we'll be back. Anyway, thanks a lot, Rick.
All right, take care.
Oh, I just ended it. Oh, that's it. I've just ended it now. Right, here we go, ending it. Ending the video. Thank you, everybody.